Us on TVC News at 1. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has restrained the Independent National Electoral Commission from releasing voter register to the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission for the purpose of conducting local government election on the 5th of October in the state. The court also barred the Inspector General of Police and the Department of State Service from providing security for the exercise. Justice Peter Lefo issued the order against INEC while delivering judgment in a suit brought before him by the All Progressives Congress. Justice Lefo held that the RSIEC was wrong in fixing the 5th of October date for the conduct of election into the 23 local governments when all relevant laws guiding the election had not been complied with. In Cross River State, the State Independent Electoral Commission has released the timetable for the 2024 local government election. Chairman of the Commission, Ekong Boko, says the election will be held on the 26th of October. Tina Akweke has details.
In line with the constitutional provisions of 1999 as amended and Cross River State Law No. 2, 2002, RSIEC announced the commencement of party primaries ahead of the local government elections. The chairman assured party members that the commission will provide a level playing field for all political parties by ensuring transparency and fairness throughout the process.
Like we have said to Cross Riverians is that those of them that are of the age and they are willing to participate, they should make their intention known to their political parties, and then when they are fielded, they should be assured that this commission gives everybody a level playing field. The same message we gave yesterday was the same message we are saying today, and we continue to say the same thing.
Resolution of disputes arising from the primaries will be attended to from 25th of September to 15th of October, while the local government election will hold on the 26th of October 2024.
Commission address the press and all the stakeholders, all the political parties in the state, informing them of the forthcoming local government council selection in Cross River State, and they will release the timetable and the guidelines to guide us through. And as at yesterday, we made the publication of notice of election, and the election actually will take place on the 26th day of October 2024.
With the timetable now available, political parties and key players in Cross River State are gearing up towards the local government polls, which is expected to influence local governance significantly. Tina Akweke, TVC News, Calabar.
Away from that, in anticipation of the upcoming 1st of October Independence Day celebration, the FCT Police Command has strategically deployed adequate personnel and equipment throughout the FCT. According to the FCT Police Public Relations Officer, Josephine Adi, this proactive deployment is to ensure that residents enjoy a hate-free Independence Day celebration. The deployment will include explosive ordnance disposal personnel, anti-riot equipment, visibility policing, among others. Traffic diversions will also be implemented in areas expected to experience large crowds, including Central Area and the Eagle Square. While celebrating the Independence Day, residents of the FCT have been encouraged to remain vigilant and report any suspicious movement or activities to the FCT police emergency lines. In the meantime, organizers of the 1st of October protest against the hardship in the country have insisted they would proceed with the showdown despite warnings by the federal government and the Nigeria Police Force. One of the leaders of the planned protest, Omoyele Sowore, gave an update on his social media platform X earlier today, where he insisted the action would take place, adding that it would be held across the country. For more on this planned protest, Managing Editor, Avalon Daily, Ayodele Adio, joins me on the news at 1. Mr. Adio, another protest is brewing, and this time on Nigeria's Independence Day. Is this a coincidence, and do you have concerns that this protest might be hijacked like that which held in August?
Well, listen, if I have any concerns, my concerns are really around the cost of living crisis that Nigerians are grappling with. is the rise in insecurity across many parts, of the country. Is the fact that most families can no longer afford, 2 square meal a day. They can't pay for energy. They can't fuel their cars. They can't fuel their generators. They are struggling to pay electricity bills. And for me, that is the reality of millions of Nigerians, and that is what really and truly bothers me the most. The fact that the standard of living has so collapsed that household expenditure is swallowing up most families, leaving them in depression and in lack. And, if these conditions persist, I just wonder if it would have cause to be set momentous events like our Independence Day and other festivities that will come up in the next couple of months. The reality is that the average Nigerian is struggling to survive, to put his head above water. And every other thing, trust me, is really and truly secondary. To the protests that you talked about, people have a legitimate right to vent. People have a right to express their grievances as long as it's done in a very peaceful and coordinated manner. And I don't think that, it's the conversation around whether it's going to be hijacked or not, for me, is neither here nor there. It's the same playbook we sing about every time Nigerians want to protest. I think that what we should be focusing our attention at this very moment is what is instigating people seeking to go out on the streets to protest. And the chief instigator is the cost of living crisis that is, swallowing up the discretionary income of most Nigerians, and has essentially pauperized millions of Nigerians. You saw the last...
Yes, I hear you, Mr. Adio, and you know that it's also in line with this that the federal government has announced this will be a low-key celebration, no parade like you would usually have at the Eagle Square. But then, of course, also being able to manage the protest is another concern, which the authorities are concerned about because they wouldn't want a situation where a protest which should be peaceful becomes violent, and in the midst of it all, you have buildings, you have properties looted and destroyed. I think that is another important issue, don't you think? And how do you think, what really is your call to organizers of this protest to ensure that it's as peaceful as they have proposed?
Well, I mean, to be extremely honest with you, I'm sorry that I sound a bit grumpy this afternoon, but listen, I'm just a bit tired of having conversations around whether protests are going to be peaceful or not, or what people are doing to stop protesters from getting violent. You and I know that, none of us wishes for violence. It's something that, I've consistently condemned over the years, and every right-thinking Nigerian does condemn any sort of protest that resorts to violence. But the reality is, again, we have to go back to the elephant in the room. And for want of sounding like a broken record, there is something that is instigating people to want to go to the streets to protest. And it doesn't matter how many times we talk about how we're going to manage people on the streets or not, or whether people are provoked or not, or whether we're going to stop people from being violent or not. I think we need to have, a serious conversation about dealing with the elephant in the room. And that's a conversation that we seem not to have expended enough energy on. If you looked at certain reports, just last week, the NBS had put out the unemployment figures, and unemployment in Nigeria has risen astronomically. About 4 million people were unemployed in 2023 alone. If you looked at the expenditure of governors in Nigeria on entertainment funds alone in the last 10 months, they spent billions on entertainment in government houses across the entire country. When you juxtapose that together, you see a complete disconnect between the governed and those who are purportedly being governed in this country. So forgive me, but the conversation really and truly, I really don't want to expend energy talking about protesters.
I hear you, Mr. Adio.
But really the elephant in the room here is that we have to fix the cost of living crisis in our country. We have to prevail over politicians to stop this wasteful expenditure that they have embarked on in the last couple of years. We have to ensure that our budgets are targeted at driving productivity. We have to, as a matter of national urgency, begin to lift people out of poverty and create meaningful employment opportunities that raises income standards of the average Nigerian. We need to give hope to the average Nigerian that they can climb the social ladder. We need to inspire confidence in the woman down the road who is selling akara and has trained her children to school, hoping that when these kids graduate, they are going to lift her from that condition. But unfortunately, the reality is that she still has to give them money from the little akara she's selling because these graduates can't find jobs. That's the reality of our country 64 years after. And this, for me, should be on the front burner, should be eating up national conversations. And like I said, I'm truly sorry, but people who want to vent can vent. I just don't concern myself about that. I want to concern myself about the chief instigator and the crisis that we face as a country and as a people.
All right, Mr. Adi, I was going to ask you about your counsel about how authorities should handle this, but of course, you have rolled all of that into your response. Thank you so much, Managing Editor, Avalon Daily, Ayodele Adio, for talking to us on TVC News at 1.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be on.